What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Early Edge. A very happy Wednesday. We've got a great show for you today. And of course, this show is brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. I see Liddy in the chat, Steve Volkerts, Darian Mercurio, Rick Funcannon in here. Hit the like button if you could. Let's see if we like the recap screen. I think we do. 4-2. Tom Casale hits his pick. Jeff Hochman 1 for 2. Buckets 1 for 2, but really 2 for 3, right? Because we hit the live play on the show. The SportsLine pick hits as well, courtesy of Prop Bet Guy. Another pick coming from him later on in the show. Mike McClure is already in the chat. He says, make it legendary. Let's bring on a legendary crew. Ladies and gentlemen, check this out. We've got Mike McClure, we've got Jeff Hochman, we've got the person impersonating John Eimer, and we've got Brady Kannon. Brady Kannon is on the show. Brady, how are you? And what do you have for us today? It's a pretty big golf weekend, correct?
Yeah, indeed. Great to be back here, Sia, with you and the rest of the crew. Thanks again for having me. Yeah, we come off of 2 signature events in the last 3 weeks, and now we go into yet another couple of signature events in a row on the PGA Tour, the Arnold Palmer Invitational, of course, the Players Championship, and, about 4 or 5 weeks away from that first major of the year in Augusta, Georgia. So golf, a pretty hot topic right now. That's what we'll be doling out. Hopefully some winners for the Bay Hill and Lodge, the venue for the Arnold Palmer Invitational.
And we've got Puerto Rico as well. And who knows, maybe on this show we'll have some Live and Joburg Open picks as well. Buckets, everybody wants to know, do you have the dice for the one and done? Brady, you might not be familiar with this, but we've got Buckets in our Splash Sports one and done. And every Wednesday he rolls the dice and he and Mike McClure come up with a one and done pick. You do have the die, correct, Buckets? Oh, 0 for 1, Buckets. 0 for 1.
Yeah, I got the die.
Rolling double zeros.
Hey, to be honest with you, I'm just impressed the dice hasn't been lost yet. We're like 5 weeks into this, and he still has the original dice. Like,
or that Freya hasn't eaten it, or something like that. So this is
we're good. We got the
win. What's up, Kaylo to Rockstar in the chat? What's up, everyone? Hope everyone had a great start to the day. Well, hopefully you're starting your day with us, and we're keeping it great. Thanks for being in here. Mike, speaking of golf, you do have a golf pick today, but also you're mixing it up. We have college basketball as well.
Got some college basketball. Got 2 golf picks for the weekend as well. Yeah, got it all. You want me to roll right into it, see, or we still introducing?
I'll tell you what, let's still introduce Jeff Hochman. You had the Alabama pick yesterday, which ended up losing, but you had a runaway victory. Correct me if I'm wrong, with the Colorado Avalanche. Are we going with NHL or college basketball today?
We're going with college basketball. Sia, the NHL trade deadline is on Friday, so beware today and tomorrow when betting the NHL. I may have a selection tomorrow, so if you are a SportsLine member, go to the website. It will be up. But yeah, I mean, 1-1 or 0-2, that's such a big difference. I know it's only one game, right? But big difference. I don't want to mess that recap screen for everybody. So yeah, glad I got the split there late night.
We've had some good recap screens as of late. All right, Buckets, that's a lot of that is due to you. You've been pretty hot over the last couple of weeks. You've actually got 3 picks for us today, and you're not going with the glasses. We just decided wardrobe change.
So I ordered off Amazon a bulk box of like 10 pairs of different glasses because I wanted to look smarter. None of them fit my head, so I get a migraine about 15 minutes into wearing them. So they're here, but I'm not going to wear them. I'm just going to do my best, if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah, if it's any consolation, they didn't make you look any smarter. So.
Oh, and they hurt like hell, man. So it's a lose-lose. We might as well just throw them away. But no, we've got Premier League midweek footy this week. So, of course, we're looking at some of these big EPL matchups. And I've got 3 for everyone. And we are going to be taking the chalkiest bets we can find, because that's what you do when you're in the final third of the Premier League season and you've got these teams that can no longer afford to drop points. Starting off with this match between Brighton taking on Arsenal. Brighton finally finding a good bit of form. They've won their last 2. The defensive line has gotten a bit whatever that word is, they've gotten a bit better, is what I guess I'll say. But this Arsenal team, who is continuously dropping points throughout the season, can no longer afford to do so if they want to win the Premier League title. They are just barely ahead of Manchester City right now, and any slip up from here till the end of the season could be the difference between hoisting the trophy or sitting for their third season in a row watching from the sidelines. So I've got Arsenal to finally get it together to continue their good goal scoring form that we've seen against recent weeks since they did something to Tottenham Hotspurs. I like Arsenal to get 2 this afternoon at -120. They've got the better attackers, and even on the road with so much on the line, this is a team that I believe can truly handle the pressure. So I'm expecting a big result out of Arsenal. On the opposite side of this, Manchester City are hosting Nottingham Forest. Man City, just a couple points behind Arsenal right now with the game in hand. This is a team that if they win out the season, there's a very realistic chance that they will be the champions of the Premier League, which means they sure as hell can't be dropping points to a team like Nottingham Forest. I've got a same game parlay to get the juice down a bit. I've got Man City on the money line, which is around -200, parlayed with over 0.5 goals in the first half. Expecting many, many goals out of Man City in this one, but I like playing the first half to get that juice down. Still a little juicy, but at -130, I'll play that all day for a team like Man City. Then, Newcastle versus Manchester United. Newcastle is a team that is historically known for incredibly stout and impressive home form, but they just haven't been it this season for me. They've been struggling massively against teams that they have absolutely no business struggling against. And now they're playing a Man United side who is somehow third on the table, who are unbeaten in their last 7 matches, and who have looked incredible on the road and are looking like a team that is a legitimate threat to finish for a Champions League spot here. I think Man United win outright, but right now on MGM, you can get Man United draw no bet at -120, giving you that potential push safety net that I love so much for a team that I think is going to win this game 2-1, 3-1, Sia. I'm expecting 1, 2, 3 check marks by my name tomorrow. But yeah, excited for Premier League footy.
There are so many questions for you, Buckets, just regarding the soccer slate today. So we'll get to those eventually. I don't want to make the first 10 minutes of the show just soccer, but we're definitely going to go back to soccer a couple of times in this show. Before we get to some golf, Brady Kannon, I'd like to mix in some college basketball. Jeff Hochman, you've got another college basketball pick today. What is it?
Yeah, let's bounce back, Sia. We got Penn State playing Ohio State, and I like Ohio State here. I got -6.5 at -114 at SportsLine, 7.5 in most spots. I would take it all the way up to 9. I really would. My model has this at 10.1. So it's a big-time strength versus weakness. We know Penn State's interior defense, they're fundamentally flawed. They allow the nation's worst 2-point percentage defense, giving up a staggering 58.6% shooting inside the arc. Well, this bodes well for the Buckeyes, who converts 57.8% of their 2-point attempts. The Buckeyes should be motivated here. They got to bolster their NCAA tournament resume. My model projects them to score at will in the paint. They're going to build the lead, and I think they're easily going to surpass this spread. There's a stat in college basketball, wins above bubble. Ohio State is 1.2 right now. They need to win this game. They need to win at Indiana on Saturday to impress the voters here to get into the big dance. Now we have the conference tournaments as well, and they can win that. But I think Penn State, with little to play for, they're just simply finishing out the season. And also, I just saw that Caden Mingo, he's questionable with an illness for Penn State, 13.7 points per game, 4.1 dimes, 2.1 steals. He's really good off-the-ball defender. Not having him in the lineup really will hurt Penn State. So give me Ohio State. I got it at 6.5. You can play it all the way up to 9. And let's cash this tonight for everybody.
All right, Ohio State -6.5 in that one. All right, let's transition. We're going to get back to golf. We're going to get back to one and done. A lot of questions in the chat. Mike, there was a question about a DFS show, and I know it's something you and I have talked about and something that we're kind of working on to carve something out for everybody at SportsLine to get some DFS content out there to you as well. There was also, that reminded me also of just bracket season. We're talking about the bubble. We're talking about March Madness. I can tell you, I hope I'm not spilling the beans too quickly here, Ben, on the 1s and 2s, but we're not only going to have a lot of special shows as Major League Baseball season approaches with some live betting shows, but we're going to have a show that we're planning right after the bracket comes out. We're talking like a half an hour after the bracket comes out. We're going to have a show where we're going to pile some people in. We're going to talk about lines that have just come out, the bracket itself on that Sunday night. So make sure you're subscribed to this SportsLine YouTube channel. And honestly, over the next month or so, I'd implore you to make sure you've got notifications turned on, because some of these shows are going to pop up at times that they don't normally pop up, and they're going to be somewhat time sensitive. So again, SportsLine, subscribe and turn your notifications on. Brady Kannon, the API starts tomorrow. You've got an outright winner to talk to us about. You've got a top 20 to talk to us about, and a tournament matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Across the board, the full card is up at cbssportsline.com. Sia, you know this tournament very well. It's been around for many, many years. Arnold Palmer's baby. And this is a big boy golf course, big boy golf tournament. It's kind of like a major championship where you really have to do everything well. You got to hit greens in regulation. You got to scramble. You got to putt. You got to be good off the tee. And I'm going to get a little bit chalky here. There's only 72 players in this field. Again, it's a signature event. There will be a cut. The top 50 players and ties, and anyone within 10 shots of the lead, just like we had a couple weeks ago at Riviera for the Genesis Invitational. Same format here. And I'm going to go with Tommy Fleetwood to get it done here. The last time we were on Fleetwood for an outright, it cashed at the Tour Championship. His first win on American soil, the PGA, first win for him on the PGA Tour last August. And I think he can get it done again here. He's doing everything well. He's got 2 top 10 finishes to start his PGA Tour season, Sia. And he is number 2 on tour right now in scrambling. He is 4th in strokes gained tee to green. He's been top 10 twice here before at Bay Hill. He's also finished as high as 3rd here at Bay Hill. So the track record is good. The form is good right now. And as far as correlated courses, I always like to do this in my golf handicap. I feel, and you guys that play golf, when you go to a course and it like suits your eye, you tend to play well at that property. And I think it's very true for these pros as well. And I think there's a lot of British Open courses that correlate to Bay Hill. And we've seen a lot of people that have had success in the Open Championship do well at Bay Hill. Ernie Els, Jason Day, Francesco Molinari, Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler. They've all won Open Championships or done very well across the pond. Tyrrell Hatton and Tommy Fleetwood, another guy that knows how to play that link style golf in the wind, like we're expected to get here in Florida throughout the week. He finished 2nd at Royal Portrush to Shane Lowry in 2019, was 16th at Royal Portrush last July, and the Scottish Open at the Renaissance Club, he's been 4th and 6th. So I think everything lines up nicely for Fleetwood. You can find him anywhere from about 18-1 to 20-1. 20-1 I found here locally in Las Vegas at the Westgate Superbook. But I think 18 is pretty readily available, and I think that's a perfectly fair price, Sia.
All right. We've got Fleetwood as an outright. Quickly talk to me about Robert McIntyre. We're going to get back to your matchup later in the show when I give my matchup out. Quickly hit me with Robert McIntyre top 20 at plus money.
I wouldn't be surprised if he contends for the outright win here, Sia. This guy really leans heavily into the links golf angle that I'm talking about. Now, he's only played Bay Hill twice, and it was last season that he finished 11th. So, basically a rookie at this place, and he's already finishing well above, average. So he has an affinity for the golf course without much experience here already. But again, the links prowess. Runner-up and winner at the Scottish Open, been 6th and 7th at Royal Portrush, been 8th at Royal St. George's. Those are the courses for me that have a similar setup and layout to Bay Hill. So I think Robert McIntyre makes a bunch of sense here. We know he's good at that style of golf, can play in the wind. The short game is magnificent. He's got past history here at this course. And plus 140. Now, there's only 72 players in this field, right? If you make the cut, then you're playing against about 50 guys. And, if you have a decent week, you figure a top 20 finish is not as outlandish as finishing top 20 on a normal week on tour. You're basically just better than half the field here to finish top 20. And I think Robert McIntyre can absolutely do that. And at plus 140, I'm going to go there.
Kevin Gaines says, it's my birthday today. Finally able to catch a show live. Been watching you guys since 2020. Love the SportsLine fam. Everybody wish Kevin Gaines a happy birthday. We just had somebody, Scott Edwards, celebrating his 60th birthday on the show yesterday. We got a lot to get to, including so many questions for buckets. We've got some more college basketball, actually a lot more golf, an NBA sports line pick we got to get to. But I do want to remind everybody there's a lot of BetMGM promos we need to talk about. And one is relating to golf. BetMGM players will receive a golf odds boost. Just make any golf bet this week to activate the boost. If you win your bet that was made with the odds boost token, you'll receive extra winnings and unrestricted bonus dollars. BetMGM players can also get their stake back in cash as a second chance refund on any pre-tournament straight or golf tournament winner. This means if the player you bet does not win the tournament but does finish second, you get your money back. Love that. This promotion will be available pre-tournament for all applicable golf events on Mondays through Wednesdays. How about a couple of sports line picks? And Mike or Jeff, when we get back from the break, if you have any commentary on this one, because I kind of do, on Miami plus 2.5, minus 112. This one is from Chip Patterson. I like this play. I like Miami in the points. I know some of the markets have this already at plus 1.5. Wanted to see if you guys like this one as well. Chet Holmgren, under 19.5 points and assists, minus 124. That one courtesy of Prop Bet Guy. Those are our two sports line picks. All right, we got to get to a break, and then we're going to come back with Mike McClure right after this message from our partners.
This is why we do this every March.
Major slam! It is a basketball party. It's March. Expect the unexpected.
We're back on the early edge, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Mike McClure, did you have anything on that Miami game? They're on the road at SMU, getting 1.5, 2.5 points. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, I made the number 2, so I would not personally be getting to the window at 2.5 with a bet on the side. I did, however, play the under in that game, 160.5. I made the number 158.5. Never comfortable, considering the pace that SMU wants to play with. You do generally give them more ability to dictate that pace playing at home, but I do have a little position on the under, lean the Miami direction, but would not be taking it personally.
Jeff, any thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I would actually lean to SMU. My model did make it at 3, but I don't like going against Mike, that's for sure, but I would play his under bet.
I mean, it does seem like it's a pretty efficient line based on what you two just stated. Zach Kasinski says, Sia, spoiler alert, is Castillo on the card tomorrow? So I've already put out my card in the SportsLine Discord on Twitter. I even mentioned it on Monday on this show. And I mentioned it on Monday, all my outrights, because I knew the lines would get absolutely crushed. And all of them got crushed with the exception of my huge long shot. So yeah, Castillo's not on my card. I actually like him, but his odds were too short. It was in that 22 to 25 range. And I liked guys in that 35 to 55 range that I thought had similar upside as Castillo. And yes, it is pronounced Castillo for some reason, even though it looks like Castillo, just so everybody knows. Mike McClure, you've got some golf and you've got some college basketball. Hit us with that.
Yeah, we'll start with the college basketball. This is a day game. I know a lot of us love a little day baseball. We love early sweats. This is the equivalent of that. It's going to be a first half under on North Alabama here. Going to go team total under 31.5, currently minus 105. There are 32.5s trading out there, but up to minus 128. I would not value that extra point that significantly. So I would play the 31.5s at minus 105 or better personally. When I look at this matchup, they're definitely not the better team here. They play with a very slow tempo, one of the slowest in college basketball. They are not a good team in terms of offensive rating. We're talking, bottom 30 out of all 365 teams. They do not shoot free throws well. They do not have any sort of edge in this game in terms of rebounding the basketball. It will be a sweat at such a low number like this, but I have their median outcome in the first half here at 28 points over a full possession, over the full 3 points off, which is a considerable edge when you're talking about a first half. Again, neutral site talking about conference tournaments, early start times, looking for a little sluggish start here offensively from the worst team in North Alabama. So first half team total fading that 32nd point. Next, we will move to golf. 2 golf plays. One thing Brady said kind of stood out a little bit, and that was just the field in general. You're talking signature event, 72 spots with a little bit of a cut. The markets I'm going to give you here are finishing position markets currently that I know of, only available on DK. But two that I really love. I'm going to start with Rory McIlroy here. Going to go under 12.5 for his finishing position. Yes, it is correlated to a top 10 finish if that's all you have available. For me personally, love the fact that you're catching the 12.5 here. Limited field, Rory should absolutely crush at this potential golf, like at this venue, right? We've seen him have a ton of success here, but for me, it's just kind of built for him. You're talking about this version of Florida golf. It's just extremely thick, rough, and a little bit of water. And this, more than anywhere, really, the tee shot, if you're not hitting the fairway, it's very, very much a penalty. It definitely penalizes as much as pretty much any golf course that they play on the PGA Tour. I like that for a couple reasons. Rory is great off the tee, but when he misses, if you're looking for someone that could miss off the tee, I want raw strength. I want club head speed. I want distance. I want the ability to simply be able to bail yourself out through that strength. Rory fits that bill very well for me. Again, love this price point here in a limited field with a cut. You're talking about a guy that if Rory doesn't have his A stuff to win, which personally I think he can and probably will win this event. If he doesn't, though, and he's just simply making the cut, and after the cut happens, he's sitting 40th in this field, all he's going to need is basically to gain 2 to 2.5 shots the rest of the weekend, and he's still hitting this top 12.5 number. So really like this one at -112. And then next, Sia, a guy I know you and I have backed, off and on. How about Nicolai Højgaard? His finishing position here is 31.5. I could make the case, if we shorten some of the sample sizes we use, that we could have Nicolai Højgaard projecting in the top 10 in this field right now. I love this one at 31.5. When you look at Højgaard, similar thing. He's got the distance. He's played a lot on the DP World Tour. If it does play a little more like some of the the wind comes up, as Brady was mentioning, playing a little bit more like some of those courses. I like his just overall raw talent and experience playing different courses around the world. But I just think we're still a little early on Nicolai Højgaard. I think he's going to continue to be basically a top 10 player, even in fields with this strength. So under 31.5, drastically better, in my opinion, in this field than trying to play him in a top 20 market.
Buckets, we're going to get to your soccer questions in just a second. We're going to have you roll the dice. But my quick follow-up, because Nicolai Højgaard in DFS is going to be very popular because of all the things you just stated and because he's 7,200. From a game theory standpoint, are you still willing to lean into Nicolai Højgaard in spite of him being higher owned in sort of a lower tax bracket, if you will, or are you going to avoid him because of that?
No, I'll be playing him. So, it's always an interesting question talking DFS and player ownership like that. I don't think any individual player's ownership matters. I think the collective ownership of your lineup is far, far more important. I think that if you're going to play a chalky player like that, I think it's doable and frankly recommended. Just consider having unique combinations, right? So yeah, I have no issue playing him. I certainly will be playing him. As far as like the only other players that I have that are like showing up as more optimal to be playing are Rory McIlroy, Tommy Fleetwood, Colin Morikawa. It's McIlroy, Fleetwood, Morikawa, Højgaard. That's right. The list.
We'll have more on Morikawa in just a second, but let's get to some soccer questions. Buckets, have you seen most of them? Are you going to do your thing, or should I tee you up?
I'll run. You can tee me up if you want, but I can just run through them as well. Whatever's easier for you, Sia. That's what I care about.
Well, what's easier is you just go.
Oh, no, I'll just go then. Yeah, a bunch of soccer questions in the chat. Let's rapid fire these. Crispy Scott says Arsenal -1.5 for over 5.5 corners on DK with a cash face. Not a question, so we can move on from that. Buckets, do we like Aston Villa team total over 1.5 today at +125? I smell goals. Jeff, if someone gave me $1 million for free and said, Buckets, all you have to do is bet this on something for the Aston Villa-Chelsea game, I would give the money back, say no thank you, and then go take a nap. I have absolutely no idea how to bet this game. Aston Villa just lost to Wolves 2-0, which was laughable, but then Wolves beat Liverpool, so maybe it wasn't laughable. And then Chelsea are treating football more like UFC than they are football, just red cards I don't know what's going to happen this game. If you told me there were 8 goals, I'd go, yeah, that makes sense. If you said it was 0-0, yeah, that makes sense. So I am staying as far away from this game as humanly possible. Buckets, if you think Arsenal are getting 2 goals today, thoughts on Gyökeres anytime goal? I'm always going to back my boy Victor Gyökeres there because I love that celly so much that he does every time. But Arsenal is such a weird side because their good goal scorers aren't always the ones scoring goals. So unless you're getting that at plus money, I would stay off of it. And then I've got 2 more for you here, Sia. Buckets, do we like Nico O'Reilly to score or assist for Man City? It's plus 155. He scored in his last 2 EPL home matches. I do like that normally. Last match against Leeds, he went off injured, so I'm not actually expecting him to start. If he does start, yes, go ahead and take that, but definitely wait for lineups there because we don't know what kind of injury it is yet. And then finally, Buckets, what do we think about Fulham money line and over Fulham 1.5 goals? I think that they are playing West Ham. Oh, if you're playing West Ham, bet on goals for the opponents. West Ham are awful. I think they're getting relegated. I don't even need to look into this one. I just think it's a good bet because of their opponent.
All right, Buckets, it's time to roll the dice. I want to see where you land. This is the Splash Sports one and done pick. Brady, I want to get your reaction to whoever Buckets lands on for one and done. And again, it's a 20-sided dice. Wherever it lands, he goes down the board, the odds board, and he picks that golfer. So Buckets, yeah, you've got the floor again.
So the lower the number, the better golfer we're supposed to get.
Right.
1 would be Scotty Scheffler. 2 is our McIlroy. 3 Tommy Fleetwood, et cetera, et cetera.
McIlroy is exactly how you say it.
I heard he's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
It's okay.
All right, let's see what we get here.
It's like 17 or something.
It's a 20.
No.
20?
It's a critical success, a natural 20 for my Dungeons and Dragons enjoyers.
This could be perfect because you're going to be in the minority.
I'm always
the
in
whole
the
theory
minority.
on the dice is you're getting a top 20 player at any particular event,
Right.
and you're very likely to be different in the field. Like that's the whole premise of the play here.
It's L. Aberg.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, no Ludwig.
Yeah.
Hey,
Ludwig
Gobert.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually a popular pick this week for a lot of people like him outright. Yeah, and you guys know Sia and Mike. He's been off his game. He's actually been ill. He's had, had an illness for a couple of tournaments this year. I think he missed the cut once or twice, but now really starting to turn it around. I think he's getting healthier. He's one of the best players in the world. So at some point, he is going to find his game again. He's finished top 10 twice at Augusta in his very short career. So this guy has the chops for sure. I don't think it's a bad play. The only thing I would say that could be a little bit of a negative is he could be popular. Mike, you think he could be popular?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, I think that there's definitely a sharp group of people that are going to be targeting him. But I think in this particular contest, I think that it's I don't think that he'll get chosen very often. So
if people are going to take that risk, they're not going to go that far down the board because it's such a big purse. They're going to go to that second, third tier. I think he's sort of at the bottom of that third tier, and I'm just making those tiers up. But I don't think people want to take that risk in for this particular tournament, given the status of his game.
Yeah, you got to figure Scotty and Rory will be the most popular, right?
Yeah, I would.
Fitzpatrick is going to be really popular too.
I think it'll be Fitzpatrick, Rory. Yeah. I might play Ludwig in one now with you, Buckets, and one of my big entries. But I personally, I'll disclose that I'm rolling Scotty this week.
That makes sense.
So
totally makes sense. I'm going with Colin Morikawa, as you saw in the early wedge yesterday. I'm just kind of all in on Morikawa. But Mike, go ahead.
I just say to Ludwig though, I am playing him in some high stakes DFS. He is anchoring some lineups this week, so I'm very much supportive of your role, even though it's 20th. When you said 20th, I was expecting something, something
Robert
different,
McIntyre or something. Yeah, it's a pretty good 20th is Ludwig Gobert.
If we're talking just like raw talent, I mean, you're I can make the argument as high as like 6th and as low as like 12th. Like he's.
Could you make the argument for first?
Yeah, you could.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got to be clicking.
Every week I put $10 on the outright winner just for fun, and if one of them hits at all during this one and done, I'm going to be a happy guy. So he's plus 3,500. So.
Yep.
Yeah,
Cool.
Good number.
Yep.
Jeff Hochman, we have a hockey question here. I don't know if anybody wants to talk about Providence Marquette as Martin Timoney. If anybody has any info there, I think, what is it? Providence at home favored by 5.5 in that one. But Jeff, what about the Devils Leafs under 5.5 plus 110? Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I would definitely lean under. When you see a 5.5 in hockey, you definitely want to lean under in that sport. I do have a question for Buckets, and then one other thing here. Buckets, how do you determine your alternate golfer? Do you do another roll off camera?
I go to the very bottom and click whoever's ranked last every week.
Okay, and then Kevin Gaines.
I think that's what you said, do right, Mike? Was just pick someone that.
I can assure you that I would have never told you to pick whoever's last.
Oh, well, my alt this week is B. Campbell, so maybe I should do someone else.
Oh boy, yeah.
And then Kevin Gaines was asking for a birthday parlay, not a Pampers parlay. And my recommendation would be to parlay all of our picks that go today or tonight. And then also add the Carolina Hurricanes. They're minus 300 at Vancouver. They are not losing that game.
What about the Kraken money line? Somebody, it was RJ was asking about that. It's pretty juicy, minus 148. Yeah. They're at home against the Blues.
Yeah, they've been playing really well lately. The Blues are not a good team, obviously, and they really struggle on the road. So I can only look to the Kraken on the money line. But be careful. They're one of the teams that may make a trade today, so just be careful.
Okay. Let me get I want to get to some last minute questions before we get to the recap screen, but we still have 2 picks to give out. We're going to do it super quickly. You all know I'm all in on Colin Morikawa. So I'm going to take another play on him. Obviously I gave out the top 20 pick earlier in the week. I have him as an outright, as you might've seen in the early wedge. This one's a little scary and it's a little juicy. Colin Morikawa round 1 over Justin Rose. Obviously Justin Rose has won this year. He's been playing very well. He's tailed off a little bit over the last couple of tournaments. A lot of that has been some of the off the tee stuff for him. But when it comes down to it, I really just like where Colin Morikawa is. I like the fact that I still think he's ascending, and I still think we might see the putter stabilize a little bit. And if that happens, the ball striking is just there. I mean, his ball striking is absolutely amazing. Talked about it all week in terms of the course fit, so I'm not going to belabor the point that I made on the early wedge and earlier this week on the early edge. But I really like Colin Morikawa to potentially win this tournament. The one thing I will say is that I'm not so sure about the putter with Colin. Nobody can be sure about the putter with Colin. And Justin Rose can definitely putt. He can spike with the approach. He can spike with the putter, and we've seen he can spike in other places too. Last year, he actually had a good finish. Normally, he doesn't do well here, and he was really good on approach, and he was really good with the putter. But I do see Justin Rose, at least with the recent form, tailing off just enough, and Colin Morikawa ascending just enough for me to like this matchup. And again, when it comes down to course fit, I like Colin a lot better here. So I'm willing to lay the round 1 price in a 2-ball Colin Morikawa minus 134 over Justin Rose. Brady, there was one other tournament matchup we needed to get to. What was it?
Yeah, Sia. And by the way, Royal St. George's, one of the courses I used as a corollary here this week, where Colin Morikawa won in 2021. So there's another feather in his cap.
Love it.
I like Joel Damon, probably right around Pick'em over Brian Harman. And I was able to get even money on Damon over Harman, and I've seen some steam come in on Damon. I actually just saw this morning he's moved to a small favorite, minus 115 versus minus 105 over Harman. I'm okay with that. I think the real price ought to be in the neighborhood of minus 120, minus 125 for Damon. He's got 2 top 10 finishes this season already, including last week at the Cognizant, where he finished 9th. He is 5th on tour in strokes gained tee to green, 55th on approach, 2nd in driving accuracy. His ball striking has been outstanding. And Brian Harman, a major champion a few years ago, has been completely off the radar. I mean, he is like 100 and something in approach, 100 and something in putting, which is typically a strength of his game. He's missed 2 cuts and 5 starts. He is really out of sorts this year, is Brian Harman, to begin the 2026 PGA Tour campaign. So give me the hot player here who's going well right now against a guy who's really struggling at a very cheap price.
All right. We like Joel Damon at even money over Brian Harman. Hand up anybody if I missed a question before we get to the recap screen. Buckets, Jeff, Mike McClure. Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, it's not a question. It's more of a shout out. Gene Menez, the lead horse racing rider at SportsLine. I don't think we mentioned he cashed a pick 5 last week. His articles are up on SportsLine, and he posts it in the Discord, as I do. He invested $72 on the ticket, and it returned over $4,600.
Whoa.
And there's some big races this week as we head to the Kentucky Derby in the first Saturday in May. So I'll have my picks up, and Gene as well. So if you're a horse racing fan, you're missing out on a lot of winners at the Discord and the SportsLine website.
Gene Menace has been on this show a couple of times in the past when like big race, one of the Triple Crown races have come up. But what people don't realize, Jeff, and I'm glad you brought it up, is that there's all these other races. There's all these other events that like people aren't exactly dialed in on that we're talking about in the SportsLine Discord that are up on SportsLine in article form and pick form and things of that nature. So I'm really glad you brought that up. Again, if you want to be a member of SportsLine, sportsline.com/join. It gives you all the picks and articles and simulations, a lot of Mike's DFS stuff. And I don't think people really appreciate how many sports we're covering. We're doing it for all sports. And of course, the SportsLine Discord covers all sports, including sports like horse racing and NASCAR and of course UFC. And, you name the sport, we've got it. Jeff, last word here.
Yeah, sorry. You also get handicapper trends, which I think is really neat. Like it'll tell you how a certain handicapper has done with a certain team. Like the Colorado Avalanche, I'm 24-5. Either betting Colorado or going against them. And SportsLine, has those trends for each handicapper. So it's like you as a bettor can handicap the handicapper, and maybe it's just a tiebreaker you use if you can't decide on a pick, right?
Yeah. Mike McClure, give me 30 seconds on this. A lot of people are kind of panicking in one and done. Some people are asking about Cam Young, which isn't necessarily a panic move, or Jacob Bridgman, who's great in Florida and his recent form is great and all those things. This is a huge purse. It's one of the bigger ones of the year. Do we need to be in, give me 30 seconds on this, which is an impossible feat. Do we need to be in catch-up mode? Do we need to be in desperation mode right now if we've started off badly, considering we have such a big purse here?
Yeah, I mean, you've got such a big purse. I don't know if you have to be necessarily in desperation mode. I mean, only you can look at your contest and see, number one, how big is the contest? That's going to matter significantly. And what have you done so far? While you may have struck out so far, did you strike out in a big way? Like, did you burn Scotty already when he didn't win or finish top two? Right? Did you? What have you used so far? I don't think it's time to go all the way down the board and play, all the way down. But I would, we kind of mentioned the strategy on buckets rolling the dice with top 20. I don't think that's a horrible strategy for you if you're truly trying to catch up. And I think you could even randomly pick a number between 1 and 12, 1 and 13, 14. If you want to really introduce some variance without killing your true equity, I think that at this particular event, at this point in the season, if you're not like, okay, I feel like I'm way behind, I don't think it's a bad move. The thing that I would say is if if you're playing in a one and done contest, this is way longer than 30 seconds, and you knew that was going to happen. But if you're playing in a one and done that has thousands of entries, it's very likely that someone's hit 2 or 3 winners already, at least 2. Right. And that's going to happen. So I know that can feel discouraging, particularly if you're new to playing contests, things like that. I would say, assess your process. And if you have reason to believe that your process is still correct, just stick to it.
Fair enough. All right. And again, watch the early wedge. We go over one and done on the early wedge as well. We'll be in the SportsLine Discord. Later tonight, I'll certainly be in there if you have any questions about one and done or DFS or anything like that. Let's get to the recap screen and get everybody out of here. Colin Morikawa -134 over Justin Rose in a round 1 matchup. That one starts tomorrow morning right before the early edge starts. I think it starts at 9:55. So that's why I'm giving it out today. We've got some soccer from buckets. Brighton versus Arsenal. Arsenal over 1.5 team total -120. And Man City money line plus over a half first half goals -130 in the Man City versus Nottingham Forest game. Newcastle versus Manchester United. Man United draw, no bet, -120. Jeff Hochman, Ohio State -6.5 at -114. Mike McClure, North Alabama first half team total under 31.5 at -105. That's an early game. Rory McIlroy finishing position under 12.5 -112, and Nikolai Højgaard finishing position under 31.5 at -110. Those are from McClure. Brady Kannon, He likes Tommy Fleetwood outright at 20-1. Top 20, Robert McIntyre plus 140. And a tournament matchup, Joel Damon plus 100 over Brian Harmon. Couple of SportsLine picks for you. Miami plus 2.5. That one is from Chip Patterson minus 112. And then the NBA prop bet guy, Chet Holmgren under 19.5 points and assists at minus 124. All right. What a show. What a show. We talked about a lot on the show. We tried to answer all your questions, but I know we didn't get to all of them. Get in the SportsLine Discord, ask your questions. Hit us up on Twitter, ask your questions. Make sure you hit the like button and make sure you join us tomorrow at 10 o'clock and stay subscribed. Somebody was asking about MLB futures shows. Yeah, we've got those too on the SportsLine YouTube channel. MLB live shows during day games when the season starts. Yeah, we've got that on this channel too. NCAA breakdown as soon as the bracket comes out. Yeah, we've got that on this channel too. So make sure you're subscribed. Bring your friends over. Make sure they're subscribed. And let's have some fun together on this SportsLine YouTube channel. My name is Sia Nejad. Thank you, Brady. Thank you, Buckets. Thank you, Jeff Hochman. Thank you, Mike McClure. And, of course, thank you, Ben, on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. Thank you, everybody in the chat. We'll see you very soon. For now, we rest our case.
Fulham over 1.5 team total minus 110.